recording. Okay, so here's part 2. We've had several interesting technological difficulties today. Maybe because it's snowing, maybe because I think honestly a lot of it has to do with how many beings of light are here helping us, and sometimes that energy just makes me a little jittery and weird. So anyway, here we are again. So I don't even know what we were talking about, but I would love to hear how you are enjoying coming. So you've been out in the world, like a very yang cycle, leading, teaching, inventing, helping all these businesses get going. And now you're coming back in and having this really beautiful yin business cycle.
Mm-hmm.
How are you liking that? What you're able to offer now?
It was definitely a challenge having to switch mindset and approach.
Yeah.
I'm a very much a detail-oriented, things to do, action planning, 3 months, 6 months, 5 years sort of person.
I'm so jealous of that.
Everything, yeah. And it was tough to sort of dial that down, because when I started my personal practice or my private practice, I had not been working with clients for at least a year because I was doing all of these corporate things. And I wasn't so sure if it would have been that easy for me to rebuild. But all I had to do was say that I was seeing clients again, and I had a full schedule to the point where I didn't have to worry a day once I opened my private practice. And I have a referral-based only practice.
Uh-huh.
So I never have to promote myself in any way or market myself in any way. My clients are extremely loyal and committed, and all of my clients refer me to other people that may need my services. And when I moved to Los Angeles about 4 years ago, I sort of had to dial it down because my practice had become so intense. I wound up becoming ill. And I ran myself to the ground, and that's when I developed Hashimoto's and adrenal fatigue, and literally was in the hospital with a panic attack because my nervous system had been so overloaded. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I had to fully enter a yin cycle and work on my own healing. That's when I discovered some practices I had not been engaged in, like Kundalini yoga and more deep meditation, because I had so much time alone. And when I first got to Los Angeles, I had this impression that I was going to be able to build a practice there, and that I would just live there permanently and do what I did in New York City and Los Angeles. But it didn't work out that way. The industry was very different. Yeah. I myself did not feel at home in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And
I can't even imagine you there.
Yeah. It was
really
tough. I thought it was like the wellness mecca of the world. And I had this impression that I would be able to serve well there. But it was a complete disconnect. And being that the work that we do really involves connection with people, it was hard for me to connect with people there in LA because they were very disconnected with themselves. So I opted to go back and forth in New York and Los Angeles. So it was a nice blend of a very yang energy and a very yin. I would spend 2 weeks in New York City, and I would have a full schedule of clients. I would see all of my friends. I would go out to eat, do all the things I'd love to do in New York. And then I'd go back to Los Angeles, and I would just tap in.
Drop in.
Yeah, I would meditate. I would do yoga and a lot of writing, creative arts, and a lot of imagining what I would want next and not really knowing what that would be. I did that for 3 years, and because I did the same thing for 3 years, I never felt like I was fully rooted in any particular place.
Yeah.
And so that taught me how to be even more untethered. So I learned some really beautiful lessons in that process of who I am and not really belonging to a particular place. not really worrying about my practice and what's to come next, letting it evolve on its own, it being its own entity. It's not me, it's my practice being a whole consciousness in itself,
Yep.
and really trusting that.
Hmm. Do you have a mental image about what your business consciousness looks like?
Um,
Have you ever thought about that?
I never thought about that, but the first thing that comes to mind is, when you imagine a picture of the cosmos,
Yeah.
where it's like it's dark and there are bits of galaxies here and there, and there's just this really open, vast space. That's sort of what I see.
Yeah. I had someone offer me a business energy alignment session
Hmm.
somewhat recently. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The name of this woman is Sandy Freshy,
Hmm.
and she specializes in human design, but also in energy alignment sessions. So she helped me connect to the consciousness that is the business that Noah and I are in the process of building and expanding and creating. And so when I see it, it looks like the inside of a geode.
Oh, wow.
Like it's this giant, sparkly, crystalline consciousness, and there's little things in it. And
Oh, I can completely relate to that, having experienced you and Noah and the work that you both do together. I would have to agree. It's like being inside of a geode.
And I
From
love
the look
rocks.
and the feel and the energy, completely.
Yeah, cool. And I love that your business is this cosmos. Do you see the picture I have on my wall back there?
Yes.
I stare at that painting all the time. That's like, I have Geraldine medicine in my room. That's cool. Very
Yes.
cool. So so you've actually spoken a lot to some of the questions that I wanted to ask you about what kinds of things are challenging for you and as a healer, and what are some of the ways that you take care of yourself? I think we talked about a bunch of them. What is it like to work with you, do you think?
I think it's different for every person.
Uh-huh.
There are some that I work with in their perspective on a very physical level. They're there because they have a chronic hip pain and they can't go to their jiu-jitsu class and they need some relief so that they can go and train.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have others who are feeling so much frenzy in their lives and it's showing up in their body, and they need to feel centered when they come and they see me. And then I have people who don't know what they need, but they know that when they come to me, they can be seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all very different. And I think even though they're all very different, I work with all of them the same. I use the physical body as the portal for information,
Mm-hmm.
the portal for me to receive information, to offer information. And from there, wherever the session takes me.
Mm.
Often they look very different, session over session, as well as person over person. It's nice to know that you've witnessed my work.
Mm-hmm.
And you witness what people don't see when they're laying on the table with their face down.
Yeah.
So you're probably the only person that's ever witnessed my work. from
Oh,
from that perspective, when you think about it, right?
that's true. Yes.
Yeah, even more than I have, because I don't see myself working in that way.
Right.
But I think someone had asked me once, isn't it weird that you had the same clients for like 6, 7, 10 years? Like, what, are they not getting better?
Oh.
Because there are practitioners out there. It's like, my goal with you is to never see you again. You
Yeah.
see me and I'm going to get you better, and hopefully I'll never see you again, sort
4
of thing.
visits or less, right?
Yes.
I get that if you're only working with people on a physical plane.
Yes. But then,
That's reasonable, but
yes.
that's not ever really actually happening. So,
No. And there's always
yeah.
something else that arises once
Yeah.
you get through that initial discovery,
Yeah.
because we're always evolving and there's always a deeper layer to access.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever have people come to see you just once?
Um, it has happened, but most of them do come back. If I were to think about the people who have seen me just once, it's I'm thinking of like one person in particular because it happened recently. I think she didn't know what to anticipate,
Yeah.
and I don't think she was prepared for what she experienced.
Amen. Having seen you work. Yeah, that happens not regularly for me, but often enough where I've learned to not take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, interesting. Okay. Hmm. And I wish I had experienced your work 6-7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
because I love to see how people evolve over time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine. For some reason, I literally cannot imagine you doing like rules-based neurological kind of work at this point, because you are so tapped in and so connected. It's kind of funny to me to imagine, but maybe you still do that. I don't know.
I do sometimes because, not because I rely on that type of work to be able to reach the desired outcome, but I rely on that type of work to be part of the communication.
Yeah.
So let's say with a client, I need to communicate with them how they're unable to access a part of their body because of their maybe mental disconnect or energetic disconnect. I'll do a muscle test just to connect their nervous system in a
Mm-hmm.
particular way. So it's more about, again, giving them information as opposed to really relying on step 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of a way to map things out for people, or
Mm-hmm.
give them like kind of a conscious understanding of what's being done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've definitely gone back and forth with that over the years. Sometimes I really like to explain a lot of what's going on in the physical body, and then there are some clients who, as soon as they lay on the table, it's like they're in trance.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having their own inner experience, and I'm working and doing whatever it is that's being done through me, and they come up out of that experience with all of these inner insights and wisdoms, and I didn't need to talk about their psoas muscle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely kind of a spectrum of how much education is needed in a session, for sure, for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted to not forget this, because of course the world is experiencing this very intense, for me, transformational experience, healing stimulus of this virus. And it's causing so many of us to reflect on our lives and what's important to us, and be very creative and innovative, and um, learn how to have faith and all of these different things. But it's stressful for our physical bodies and our nervous systems. And so I wondered if you would demonstrate what you showed me way back in NKT, um, the folding arm thing. Do you remember?
I do remember, although I'm in a very tight room, so I can't stand up.
Okay. Well, you can describe it verbally if you want. That's fine.
So the idea is to find a balance between your right and left hemisphere of your brain, as well as to create a union between opposing energies in your system.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps your body's not communicating in a very balanced way.
Mm-hmm.
And it affects you in the way your muscles contract, your thinking, all of your systems.
Mm-hmm.
So for some of my clients, I'll introduce this to them if I could tell that they're in a hyper vigilant state, they're super anxious, they're very concerned or worried about something, or they're just feeling very resistant to the work. It's a way for them to sort of just relax their nervous system and receive. And it's a great tool to have now because of all of the crazy energies that are out there.
Yeah.
What you're going to do is you're going to be able to cross your arms and legs. You could do this seated, do this standing. You could do this laying down, which I really love to do before bed if I just need to like calm down. So you're going to place your arms in front of you. Cross them over so that you're palm to palm. Oh.
Palm to palm?
Yeah.
Oh, the other way. Got it.
Interlock your fingers and then bring your arms in. So that's the upper body. And this also feels really good already because you're sort of giving yourself a hug and you're already sending a message to your nervous system to relax. And then the bottom is you're just simply going to cross one leg over the other. Could be right over left, left over right. And so your legs are hugging, your arms are hugging, you're feeling more secure in your body, more present in your body. And you could just stay here for as long as it takes for you to feel calm. And you could do this sitting down on the subway or at home, where most of us should be at this time, or laying down. Yeah. But yeah, this is really great.
I'm rocking myself.
Which is also a technique.
Yeah. I do this actually a lot when I'm doing secret therapist trick. When people are clearing, it's the hypnotherapy technique that I do, and the energy is really like moving and shifting. I will rock my body as they're clearing. It helps me to, it's not really a soothing thing, but it kind of helps me to manage the energy that I'm tapped into, I'm connected to. So anyway, weird things therapists do. So what's your favorite kind of client to work with? I know I'm asking you all these funny questions that are like not politically correct maybe, but I would love to hear, like, what's your favorite kind of client or your favorite kind of work to do with clients?
I guess I don't have a favorite, but if I were to find someone or a type of client that I really enjoy working with are probably the more complicated ones. Whether they're having like a lifelong physical ailment or condition that they feel has sort of changed the trajectory of their lives and they feel like they can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I really enjoy working with. Because the fact that they're still coming to see me means they don't fully believe that. And that in itself tells me that there's a window of opportunity for change.
Yeah.
And wherever that leads us or our relationship leads us, I know is already going to be different than what they've already been told. So I think that would be my favorite, although I also enjoy the skeptic. I enjoy the skeptic. Yeah, I enjoy the skeptic that comes in because, again, if the skeptic comes in, there's still that window of opportunity because that's why they're there. It's either they're wanting to be proven wrong or they're wanting to be proven right. There's still that opportunity. So I also enjoy the skeptic. I enjoy everyone that walks into my door.
Oh yeah, I know. And I think I need to Reddit that question, because no therapist has a favorite client. We
Mhm,
really don't.
mhm,
But I guess a better phrasing for that is, what about your work, what dynamics in your work really light you up,
mm,
create a lot of joy for you? And for me, it's helping sensitive people like us have tools
mhm,
and know how to be in their own power, and understand how their energy system works, and utilize it for good.
mhm,
And move out of like feeling like a victim about it. I love working with kids. I see the infinite potential that kids have. And I think to myself, how beautiful it is to come in and begin healing as a child
mhm.
and have a practice of that for your whole life.
Yeah.
Things like that. I love working with men and helping them to understand the feminine.
Mhm,
So, I mean, I have a lot of different favorites, but
mhm.
are there any other things that really light you up like that?
Um, I think when people come into my office, I'm already under this impression that they're already healed and they're already whole.
Yeah.
And I'm just there to simply hold up a mirror
Mm,
to allow them to see that.
mm,
So most of the time when people come in, I'm just like, oh, they don't really need me. I probably need them more than they need me, because each session I learn something about myself, and I too am healed in the process.
mm.
So um, it's like an hour with a really good friend.
Yeah. Remembering your wholeness together.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh. That's beautiful. This is why I love you. Oh, okay. What else can we talk about? There's so many things. Are there any classes that you want to take coming up that you're interested in?
Oh, there were a bunch of things that I wanted to do, whether related or unrelated. I guess they're all related. There is a Zen Buddhist monastery in Japan. I'm in Hawaii. I think I had mentioned to you. It was a 3-week intensive training in Zen Buddhism.
Mm,
And it was an opportunity to, which reminds me of your talk yesterday about the space in between,
mm,
and to really find stillness. And I felt like that work would really support where I am in my journey at this time,
mm.
because I'm sort of just continuing to chip away at all of these outer layers that I feel have defined me or my purpose, and really just coming back to that nothingness, which then leads you to being one with everything. And then there was this realization that I'm not going to be able to do that this year and go back to Hawaii for that period of time. Everything that's happening, not so sure. So I said I was going to take this acting program here in New York City. And as you may or may not know, a lot of acting has a lot to do with breath work and movement and voice.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to take this intensive program to sort
Huh.
of explore things in that way, because you would learn so much about yourself and your clients if you were to be able to look at the nuances of their movement and their breath and the tonation in their voice. Then I realized that I was sort of wanting to take these classes to sort of divert me from what I really need to do right now, which is to continue to be still. And
Oh man, yeah.
I think I'm low level avoiding a lot of emotions that I haven't really been able to address after losing my father, going back to New York City, parting a 10-year relationship, and all of those things, and not really processing or letting myself feel the feelings that are wanting to come up, and seeing the beauty in just feeling those emotions. And I think at this time, with everything that's happening in the world, it's actually helping usher those emotions even faster for me.
Yeah.
And being that we're being confined, It's asking me to even look at them all the time and more regularly.
Yeah.
And I think for everyone, if I were to have a message for everyone, I think that that's what I would ask everyone to do as well, in terms of giving into the fear and worry and the things that we need to do to be prepared, and really to take a look at if there are any emotions that we're wanting to run away from, and that this is sort of bringing up for us. And to know that it's okay to feel those emotions and feel where they are in your body, and to just let them disintegrate and experience what it's like to have this fear or grief or whatever it is that's coming for up for everyone at this time, to feel what happens when you actually are sitting in silence and in presence with this emotion.
Yeah. Hmm. It is the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all capable of it.
Yes.
Hmm.
And it's actually a gift. I mean, what a gift it is to be mandated to stay at home and be with your family, and to just, cook at home and be together, and not watch any sports.
Which I don't do anyway.
Yes, and actually have conversation and explore the things that we may have all been looking away from for a very long time.
Yeah. And you and I are really blessed to have beautiful home space to be in.
Yeah, I'm so fortunate, having returned to the East Coast and having a home of my own. I have family that have always welcomed me in their homes, and I have dear friends who open their homes to me. And again, people are like, "Well, aren't you going to find your own place?" And I still feel completely untethered. Like, I don't know where I'd call home at this point in my life.
Home is wherever you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I just think about some people who are being kept at home, whose homes are not the warmest,
Yes.
safest place for them to be.
Yes.
And every day I say prayers for all those people,
Yeah.
that they learn to love each other and hold each other and keep each other safe at this time. Yeah, we're so lucky that we have our families and our loved ones and
Yes.
reasonable standard of living and
Yes.
so many things. Yeah. So actually,
Hmm.
well, that just kind of is a beautiful segue potentially into what we can offer together, what you and I can offer together for people who are home and watching this because there's no sports on. um, is there anything else you wanted to say before we do some work together?
Other than I'm really grateful for this time, Jamie,
Yeah, me too.
and for doing this for all of us so
Mm.
we can learn more about each other. And like you said, for all of us to have these tools that support us, because we all have more than enough.
Mm.
And in sharing that, um, we even have more. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well. I love being with you.
And I love being with you.
So for everyone watching now, just if you want to find yourself a comfortable place to lie down or sit, it'd be great to have your head supported. It'd be lovely to have a blanket on top of you if you can grab one. Sometimes this kind of healing work causes our bodies to be cold. And sometimes as things are healing and clearing, our bodies need to shake or move, and that's okay too. So if you find yourself needing to get up and move and walk and stretch or anything at all, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. And so I invite you all to close your eyes. And Geraldine and I are going to be the channelers
Yes.
of some beautiful energy. I'm just calling upon the healing teams on the other side of everyone who's watching and listening. Calling on the divine energy of the earth, our mother. And call upon the wisdom of the sun and the moon. And we all gratefully open to receive your medicine, your love. Just breathing in and out. And noticing how good it feels to be lying or sitting in stillness. I ask for all fear to be resolved within me now. I release all sadness and grief that I have been holding on to. now. I release all anger and frustration that I've been holding inside my body now. I welcome love and healing into my body now. And so everyone coming back into their bodies, coming back into the present moment from wherever you have journeyed. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Make sure you're breathing in and out deeply.
I have these visions of all of us being able to hug one another again and hold hands and dine together and celebrate, and how beautiful that will be when we can feel togetherness in that way again.
And it will be so amplified.
Yeah. Yes.
Although I will say, I've never felt closer to the world than I do now.
Yeah. Completely.
There's not a corner in this world that this isn't touching.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful in its own way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how can people get a hold of you if they want to book a session, or if they want to ask you a question or anything?
They can head to my website, which is just my first and last name, geraldineaburgess.com. There is a contact page there. You can shoot me an email. I look forward to hearing from some of you, all of you. Or you can go to my Instagram, which is also my name. It's just geraldine.abergas. I post a lot of thoughtful content in there and just daily thoughts and sharings.
Yeah, I love your Instagram. It's good to see your face.
Likewise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for your patience with part 1 and part 2 and our technical fun. And I think I have probably another interview coming soon. And I hope also to come back with Geraldine at some point and do more of this beautiful work together.
Yes.
So thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.